What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Eagles Pregame Live. Today, we're breaking down our top matchups to watch, everything you need to know heading into this really fun matchup with the Tennessee Titans. Joining me, my man Freddie of Edge of Philly Sports, EOPsports.com. What is up, Freddie?
Pumped. This is a great matchup today. 1 o'clock football. I need to know, though, before we start, what's on for the meats? Because 1 o'clock games, the meats feel good. I know that's your thing. What is on?
Dude, it's been one of those weekends where I've just been too lazy to get to the grocery store. I've got some chicken, and I don't know what I'm doing with it. That's where we're at. It's been the case since yesterday. That's where we stand at 11 o'clock before Sunday's games.
I have chicken breast sitting there defrosting, but I do have some sausage and sauce. It's still sausage and sauce I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna butterfly some of the chicken breasts and then roll them up and bake them, bread them, bake them with cheese and something like that, something along those lines. That's exactly what I'm doing right after this. Eagles have a really good game today. A lot of really fun storylines that we're going to talk about. But let's jump right in, Freddie. Let's talk about the Eagles defense versus the Titans offense. What is one storyline or matchup that you need to just talk about right now?
Number one for me is Ben Jones is through the concussion protocol. He's the starting center for the Tennessee Titans. They are able to move the guy who filled in for him. I have his name written down, Aaron Brewer. He'll move back to left guard. So the Titans have been struggling running the ball. Not struggling, but not up to par. And part of that is that injury. So the matchup for me is how the Titans love running that zone run. The interior of the Eagles defensive line. So Linval Joseph and Jordan Davis back. Will that center be able to seal them off, allowing the cutbacks for, how am I forgetting his name? King Henry to run all over us, because it's all about the second level for the Titans. If you can stop it initially up front, then you're going to have a success. But when he gets to that second level and breaks tackles, I think they're third or fourth in the league rushing after that. But before that first hit, they're not so great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where it starts and ends. I think the biggest matchup here, number one run defense, DVOA versus one of the best, if not the best, rushing attacks in the NFL. You look at Derrick Henry and this Titans offense. The last 3 games, Henry, his yards per carry, 2.8, 3.1, and 2.2. Last week's 2.2 yards per carry was Derrick Henry's second worst mark this season. I'm going to throw out some stats because I love me some stats. And these are all per Johnny Page of the terrific Bleeding Green Nation. Go give him a follow. Here it is. The Eagles rank now in the middle tier of when it comes to a light box. That is an unbelievable thought. I remember vividly early on in the season during running situations, it didn't matter. The Eagles would still roll out those nickel bases, a light box, and get exposed. Between weeks 1 through 8, the Eagles ranked 23rd in stacked box percentage and played a light box, the 7th highest rate in the NFL. During the last 3 weeks, the Eagles are now 28th in light box percentage and 6th in stacked box percentage. What does that all mean? It's that the Jonathan Gannon haters and all the trolls need to stop crying, because we have seen, and we've talked about this during the post-game shows, during the weeks, during these preview shows, that Jonathan Gannon is making adjustments. And there it is. There are the numbers to support it. You talk about the return of Jordan Davis, man. What is that going to look like, especially the rotation? I think Jordan Davis has looked at his best when playing nose tackle this year. And it gets really interesting, especially when you think about the Tennessee Titans. They run the highest percentage of snaps in the NFL in 13 personnel. So what does that mean? You're going to see the Tennessee Titans want to out-physical you. They're gonna just try and run right through you. And you look at Jordan Davis, you look at Stu, you look at Joseph. It's going to be really fun to watch. Could they even play on the same field together in certain situations? It would be really interesting. You look at kind of how the strategy presents for the Eagles to slow down the Titans. I don't think it changes, Freddie, at all between last week against the Packers and this week here against the Titans. Slow them down on first downs. The Titans average 4.3 rushing yards per carry on first downs this season. And that's it. Dominate Derrick Henry on early downs. Keep the Titans to second and third and longs as much as possible. Do anything it takes to get out of those third and manageable situations. And I think that stacks in favor of the Eagles if they're able to limit that. You look at the Titans' offense; it's not a creative offense. It's not a fun offense. It's very stale. It's very predictable. There's very little emotion. There's not a lot of movement. They never go up tempo or no huddle. This is an under center, drop back, old school type of offense. And if the Eagles can smack them in the face with Jordan Davis and Sue and Joseph, it's going to be a good day for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, another King Henry stat. And I'm not into the whole next gen stuff, but he has 42 carries, and I thought this is pretty cool, of 15 miles per hour. When if you don't get that push defensively, that defensive line up front, and you give Derrick Henry that burst and that ability to get speed while running, that's where he becomes violent. And they haven't been able to do that the last 2 weeks. I think he only has 2 runs over 9 yards. The Eagles' defensive line, and it's kind of a concern though, because Jordan Davis coming back is huge. I hate to keep harping on it, but we have seen this defensive line get pushed back. You know what I mean? And if they can't win the line of scrimmage, as bland and vanilla as this Titans offense is, we're going to eat it because our linebackers aren't built to tackle. They're built to cover.
Absolutely. And then you look at Ryan Tannehill versus this Eagles pass rush. The Eagles currently head into week 13 with the 4th best sack percentage at 8.72%. They have the number 1 pass rush win rate in the NFL at 53%. Ryan Tannehill is not the same quarterback when he's under pressure. His numbers go down significantly. You look at the Titans offensive line. They have struggled. Taylor Lewan is out for the year. He had a torn ACL. You've got Dennis Daly, who will be playing left tackle today. He's allowed 6 sacks this season. And at right tackle, Petit Frere, who was a 3rd-round rookie this year. He's had kind of an up and down season for sure. So I look at the Eagles pass rushers having some success here against Ryan Tannehill here. You look at Josh Sweat, 2nd best in the league in pass rush win rate. And you look at Hassan Reddick, who has the 6th best pass rush win rate. I think the Eagles should be able to attack the edges with Reddick, with Sweat, and with Brandon Graham. Did you know, how about this stat, man? Did you know that Josh Sweat has the same pass rush win rate as Parsons this season? Is that nuts or what?
I did not know that. Now
that's for PFF. I'm not comparing the two.
No, definitely not. But no, Sweat can get off that edge, man. I think where the difference probably comes in, and I don't know the stats, is Parsons is probably on the field a lot more than Sweat.
Exactly.
So that helps Sweat's average. But I think you're spot on with the pass rush, especially on that left side. Hargrave's gonna be on that left side as well, and he's been able to get through a lot this year. We were talking before the show. I didn't realize he's the leading Pro Bowl voter amongst players for the NFC, and his sacks show that. So I think getting pressure to Tannehill, he's been good the last few weeks. He's been over 255 yards the last 3 weeks, over 90 passer rating. So, we know what Tannehill is. He can get hot or cold, but, getting him pressure, he's not mobile. I mean, he has a little bit of scamper for 6 yards and slide or get out, but, I spot on. The pass rush should be there today, especially on that left side.
Yeah, some other matchups to watch. You've got the rise of Treylon Burks, man. How do you not bring up Treylon Burks here against A.J. Brown? But I'm talking about Treylon Burks versus Darius Slay. Treylon Burks has played a lot more snaps over these last few weeks. A lot of Titans fans are screaming for more Treylon Burks in the playbook. He's somewhat becoming their kind of go-to option in the passing game. He's got big plays so far this season, multiple 50-yard receptions. And his 38 snaps last week against the Bengals was the 2nd most of his career. And you look at kind of more of this Eagles secondary. How do the Eagles manage without Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? He's going to miss at least the next 4 games. I'm not looking really at this one. I'm looking at that one against Dallas. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a big problem down the line, week 16. But let's talk about Reed Blankenship, man, filling in for Gardner-Johnson. I think this is the most surprising stat of the game here. Ryan Tannehill is tied for second most yards per pass thrown this year at 8.1, and he's tied for most passing plays of 40 yards or more. So this is a team that wants to run the ball down your throat, but they also have potential to get huge chunks of plays downfield, and that is Treylon Burks, of course. But you talk about Reed Blankenship, because I would be shocked if they see kind of Reed Blankenship and don't try to attack him early and often. That Reed Blankenship is going to be a guy that we're going to be watching very closely today.
Reed Blankenship, everyone was very excited last week. He had a nice game in the run game. Now, let's be clear on that. He had 1 interception, but for all the Gannon haters, that was a disguised coverage that they got to Aaron Rodgers, which he thought that was wide open, and Blankenship was sprinting from the time he was winding up. If Rodgers did a pump fake on that play, God, he was whooped. Like, he was totally committed to that interception. So though I love the heart and I love how he comes up and hits people, he kind of reminds you of Tim Houck a little bit back in the day, maybe a little Mike Zordich. He's a problem. And I agree with you, Dibes. This might not be the week, but you saw Christian Watson basically run him like I was outrunning my 4-year-old son down the sidelines. Speed is an issue. The Titans like to stay in the middle of the field throwing. Will attack him. I'm going to be interested to see. They also have Robert Woods, who is actually the leading receiver on this team, a solid veteran wide receiver everywhere he's going, whether that's Buffalo, the Rams, here. So, that's a matchup to watch. Can Reed Blankenship, he might survive this week. They're going to have to make a move. You hear the Malcolm Jenkins rumblings. He had to send out a tweet actually this week and say, hey, I'm still technically under control by the Saints, but I'm in. He said he's in.
You love it. Anthony says Gannon needs to be aggressive and stop Derrick Henry, and the Eagles win. If Gannon plays soft zone and plays conservative, the Eagles lose. I absolutely agree. We kind of just touched on that. Just like the Packers, keep them away from third and manageable, third and shorts, and I think you have a really good chance. Let's go to the Eagles offense, because that kind of
just quick question on that.
Go for it.
So how can everyone says this every week about Gannon. How can he be aggressive? I don't understand. He's down his safety and his slot corner. So essentially you're saying a run blitz. So we can't run blitz the entire game. I think not giving up the big play is probably the way to go. This isn't a Gannon game. The defensive line, watch the D-line for me. Stop thinking about Gannon and watch the D-line and see what they do. And if they're 2 yards across, then you're going to say Gannon's playing great. But if they're 2 yards behind, you're going to crush Gannon. Just watch that for me this week, Anthony, please.
Yeah. Let's roll on to the Eagles offense versus the Titans defense. Lead us off, man. What are you watching?
Eagles offense. I mean, I heard a cool ass way to say it. Chameleon-like offense. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network. Chameleon. And that is the perfect way to describe this offense, because once you say, oh, Hurts is running too much, he can't throw, he freaking throws. Once he's throwing too much, or they have the pass covered, he starts to run. I think as it's come down to all season, it's up to Jalen Hurts. Last week, he became the first player in NFL history to throw for 150, run for 150, and throw 2 touchdown passes. He continues to go up the Eagles stat charts as a quarterback. The matchup between him and Mike Vrabel, can the Titans find a way to stop Hurts' legs? Because if you can make him one-dimensional, I still think he can throw. Don't get me wrong. I still think the Eagles will have success, but that'll significantly slow the Eagles offense down, where you're not going to get those 3rd down, 7-yard runs, or even those called draws where the Eagles get a 7, 8, 9, 15-yard pop. It's really hard to stop.
Yeah, let's start with the Titans' interior defensive line. Really, really good group. Jeffrey Simmons, Tyler Tart, all these guys, they are the number 1 team stop win rate against the run at 38%. But like you said, the Titans have their biggest test of the year because the Eagles have number 2 run block win rate in the NFL at 75%. Here's a really interesting stat that shocked me. And I put this on my Twitter. The Eagles have played 3 games against top 15 rushing DVOAs this season: Washington, Dallas, and Pittsburgh. What passing percentage would you say they had against those 3 teams?
I mean, you kind of set me up to go low now. I'll say 57.
It was 47. They actually ran the ball more than they passed, which shocks me because, like, when I think of the eye test, they're like, that's not the take. That's not the take. So they still ran the ball effectively. So that's a really good sign, I think, for today. You talk about Miles Sanders. You talk about Jalen Hurts rushing attack, which arguably is the best in the league. That is like what this game is all about. The meat and potatoes of this game is the best rushing offense versus the best rushing defense. And at the end of the day, like I find it hard to believe the Titans find a way to slow down Jalen Hurts, most notably because this is a defense that will not stack the box. This is a defense that consistently runs only 6 in the box. Jalen Hurts is going to see that. And I think he's going to test it early and often. This is one of those games where it really sucks to not have Dallas Goedert for RPOs and things like that, because Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert would absolutely tear this Titans defense up if they're not going to stack the box. But I think this matchup definitely favors the Eagles here. And I don't know, man. The Eagles have an NFL high 21 rushing touchdowns. I think the Eagles will get it done there over this Titans really good run defense. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts versus the Titans pass rush. The Titans have the 3rd lowest blitz percentage, but they're top 10 in sacks at 31. They also have the 5th most pressures in the league and the 5th most quarterback hits in the league. So this is a defense that doesn't blitz. So Jalen Hurts is not going to see a lot of pressure. He's not going to see extra guys at the line or extra rushers, but it's amazing how effective they are at getting to the quarterback. It's a really interesting defense. But the good news here is Danico Autry is hurt and officially out of this game. Some other guys worth mentioning: Bud Dupree. He's kind of battled some injuries throughout this season, but he's that type of speed rusher that I think Jordan Mailata might struggle with. Jordan Mailata is much better against the run than the pass, and he has a history of struggling against faster guys. And another guy to watch out for today is David Long, a guy for the Titans. He's a linebacker, but he's really good at getting to the quarterback. He's 2nd among all linebackers in the NFL with 17 pressures. That's a little bit about the Titans pass rush. The good news for the Eagles is that they're just to kind of some nuggets here on how dominant this Eagles pass protection has been. Lane Johnson is number 1 among tackles in pass block win rate. Landon Dickerson is tied for number 1 among interior offensive linemen, and Jason Kelsey is 5th best among centers at 95%. Like this Eagles pass protection across the line is dominant. Anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah, you touched. I agree everything you said on the run. This is a good pass rushing team, and according to Next Gen Stats, they're actually 1st in the league in quarterback pressures, 150. Yeah. Depending where you look, they have 3 players with over 5.5 sacks, and like you said, that Danico Autry injury, he's the leader with like 7. Wow. Jeffrey Simmons has 6.5, and then Rashad Weaver has 5.5. So this team definitely can get to you. Like you said, they don't blitz. They're going to send 4, but you don't know what 4 that is. They do a great job of disguising their coverages. They'll even drop defensive tackles back into coverage, then send the linebackers. So it's going to be very, intriguing to watch Jalen Hurts now, especially the run-pass offense we like to run, and then shotgun, if he can identify what Mike Vrabel's putting there to stop the Eagles there. But like you said, the Eagles pass defense has been immaculate all year. So the matchup you would think we're going to win, but I don't know that we faced a D-line like this yet that actually drops in coverage and can disguise as well.
Anthony chimes in and says, watch A.J. Brown go off. Let's talk about A.J. Brown. because it's so funny when you look at this Titans defense. They run a lot of nickel. They don't run a lot of stack boxes. You would think they'd be better against the pass than the run. They're actually better against the run than they are against the pass. The Titans give up the 4th most passing yards in the league, the 2nd most passing yards per game at 266. This team really struggled against T. Higgins last week for the Bengals. He finished with 7 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. You look at kind of a group of corners, not one of them for the Titans are over 6 feet. They're all smallish. I'm excited to watch Roger McCreary today. That was a guy I really liked. I think I had a second round grade on during last year's draft, but he's really struggled this year. Roger McCreary has allowed 49 completions for 552 yards and 4 touchdowns and an opposing passer rating of 104.9 this year. And this has to be a huge game for A.J. Brown to bounce back and dominate. So I remember like going back to that Eagles versus Packers pregame, hoping to see a little more creativity on offense. We kind of did see that last week. We saw a little more 11 personnel and less 13 personnel against the Packers. That's definitely something to keep an eye on because if you can get A.J. Brown in the slot, more Quez Watkins in the slot, more snaps for Quez, like that's definitely something that I don't think the Titans have an answer for. So
the Titans, they certainly don't have an answer because Elijah Molden is out, who would be in the slot there. Yeah. So I couldn't agree more. That's a matchup they're definitely gonna have to look at because McCreary now is gonna have move into the slot, and then I forget the other guy, Trey something, last name's Trey. He's another guy, so they're injured back there too.
I guess the biggest question I have is I want to see if the Eagles can find best times to throw on first down. The Titans have been really exposed on first downs against the pass, 7.4 yards per attempt. I don't know. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Because like the Eagles kind of get going, especially running the ball. When they get going and kind of can cement their will against opposing defensive lines, they really push people around. But this is definitely there's going to be times in this game where they might want to throw intermediate to deep routes early and often, just to kind of, most importantly, get this Titans offense playing from behind. Because if you take out Derrick Henry and they're now a passing offense because they're down 14 points, a lot changes.
Because the Titans' game plan is going to be what the Redskins or the Commanders, is to keep our offense off the field. But to your point with the receivers, Christian Fulton. Christian Fulton's the only good player they have over there out of LSU. I actually wanted the Eagles to draft him over Jalen Hurts with that second round pick way back when. So that's going to be the corner. Just whoever he's on, if he's on A.J. Brown, then go Watkins, Devontae Smith. I feel like it's fairly simple. First down, though, we've seen it before where it's set up where you think the Eagles are going to run, like against the Pittsburgh Steelers a few weeks ago, and they came out throwing. I agree with you. This might be that one of them games where the Eagles have a great week last week running the ball. It looks like there's a matchup where they might be able to run. Even though the Titans are pretty good at stopping the run, throw on first down. Why not? See how that works. Let the pass set up the run.
Yep. So, yeah, you talk about Devontae Smith. He was fighting a groin injury. He will be playing today. That's definitely something to watch. Any other storyline? What? He was fighting.
Maybe that has something to do with like his number production going down the last, maybe 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, maybe. He did not practice.
No, you don't. I trust what you said. I just wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, it was a limited participant at practice Wednesday, and he fully practiced on Friday. So he should be good to go. Any other storylines of this Eagles offense versus Titans defense?
No, none for me. Hooker, Amani Hooker, but that's about it. He's all right. He's solid, but
yeah, I'm good. All right, we're gonna do it this week. We're gonna talk about special teams. What?
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 I was wondering why you were rushing through. I thought we were wrapping up, but you're gonna talk about special teams, Dives?
The bid is over. The bid is over. It's now definitely a pattern, and it's now becoming an issue. Maybe not now, but could be an issue during a big moment during the playoffs. I want to get your thoughts on
what you're fired. I've been fucking saying that for excuse my. Oh man, I cursed. You got me fired up. I've been saying that every week. You've been rolling your eyes at me. You're literally gonna verbatim repeat what I've been saying week after week. Nah, I hear you, dude. Because I kind of went where you went a little bit. I started to listen to you, and I'm kind of like, whatever. But yeah, it's becoming it's ridiculous. Like that Packers game. My God, it's becoming like so much easier to like. This is an NFL that's trying to eliminate the kickoff, and it's easier to run the kickoff out against us and get to the 30, 35 than take a knee. It's really astonishing. So much that the Eagles are talking about starters moving, Kazir White's one of them, that are going to be playing special teams this week. I mean, come on. You make an NFL roster, and your job is to get, like, how is that not number one? Like, you're not playing on the field, and now you got a starters taking your job. It's frustrating. It's all attitude. Like, think about it. It's on the kickoff. You take off your one job, run down the seam, take someone's head off, and you can't do that.
What's up, Allison? What's going on? Thanks for joining. It's a problem. It's a problem because it's starting to put them in situations, short yardage situations for sure. Like last week, the Packers had returns of 38, 52, and 53. The Packers were returning kicks from like the 5-yard line, like the 2-yard line, like it was nothing. Like they weren't afraid at all. And that's going to bite them in the ass, especially considering that the Titans are a really good red zone offense. They really struggled last week against the Bengals. That's not typical. I think they were over 3. They didn't get a single touchdown in the red zone last week. But the Eagles have to shore that up. They can't give this Titans offense short yardage consistently like the Packers had. You look at on the season so far, the special teams have gotten fooled by 2 fake punts. They have had a field goal blocked. They've muffed 2 punts and just penalties and bad kick coverage, and it's now becoming a thing. My bid at the start of the year was it's just special teams, but now it's more so about the long term. Especially preparing for the playoffs and things like that.
And how about on the other side? How about getting a spark from your punter kick returner? I know they put Boston Scott to return kicks last week, but he's not in special. But give me Covey's got to get out of there. Put Devontae Smith back there. I don't know. Put anyone back there. Greg Ward, bring him back up the practice squad. At least you'll get 6-7 yards. Covey, who I was like my prediction to make the roster, is a goddamn statue. He might as well just have a robot go like this. Fair catch. Oh, it's inside the 10. Walk away. Like that's what they should. I could do that. If I could catch, I could do what Covey's doing.
All right, let's get into player of the game and score predictions, man. What's your gut feeling right now?
I'm an idiot. I didn't even think about this before the game. Player of the game. I think. Oh man, it's going to really fall down on Jalen Hurts. It really is. I don't mean to pick the easy one, but I just really think the Titans are going to find a way to stop him from running, and he's going to have to pick their defense apart. I think they're gonna focus on that, stop the run, and I think he'll have success. So my player of the game is going to be Jalen Hurts. And prediction wise, I'm going to go 24-20 Eagles on a 4th quarter drive by Jalen Hurts to win the game with a minute to go.
Love it. I'm definitely in that same boat. I'm in that like 27-20 area for the Eagles. I think the Eagles get the W here. This is one of those games, man. I don't know why, Freddie, but like I've had this game circled on my Eagles calendar for weeks. I've been getting ready for this game, especially their issues in run defense during prior weeks. But like my vibe right now is like, I look at last week against the Packers. I thought that was going to be a close game. The Eagles offense was dominant, absolutely dominant. I did not expect them to put up 40 points, especially everything we saw recently up until that point. This is one of those games where you think it's going to be close. I don't know. Maybe this is another Eagles W that I think A.J. Brown goes off in this game. I think this is an absolute lock for at least 150 yards. 8 receptions, a couple scores for AJ Brown. This is one of he's been really struggling lately. The fumbles, the drops. He's got a lot of physical things going on, medical things going on. This is a personal thing. This I think Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown for 2 touchdowns is a near lock. So I'm going to go AJ Brown for my player of the game, and maybe I'll even push it to 30-20. I'm going to even go a little more than 2 scores.
And the over. And
I'm never that optimistic, ever. It's just one of those things. All right.
One thing we left out, I just thought of it as you were saying it. AJ Brown's a great one. The Titans receivers have 104.1 rating against their defense, so they're going to give up. My point is their defense against the opposing receivers is 104.1 rating for wide receivers. So AJ Brown, I've totally forgot the playing his old team factor. Mm-hmm. This is like a revenge game. He didn't want to leave Tennessee. They shipped him out.
Yeah, he's not happy. And this is in Philly. You like we talked about attacking this Titans defense on first downs through the pass. This Titans defense gives up a lot of yardage on first downs. I think we could see a couple of big plays between Hurts and AJ Brown on those first downs and just break it open. That's what I want to see. I want to see this Eagles team from the jump. You're not going to use Derrick Henry a lot if you're down 7, 14, 20 points offensively. So that I want to see them take out Derrick Henry and make this Titans team one-dimensional. If you can do that, it's over. So stop early down runs against Derrick Henry on defense. Attack on early downs on offense for the Eagles. That's what I'm looking at. So I'm gonna do it. I'll say 30-20. Eagles get the W and look really good. At least in 2 phases. I don't know about that third phase. Special teams are what they are. I don't know. It is what it is. But that basically wraps it up. Let's go into final thoughts and plugs, man. Time is yours.
Final thoughts. Yep. I think one other thing to watch is the Derrick Henry pass game. That's an underrated factor. So watch out for the screen game to Henry. But yeah, as far as find me, you can find me on Twitter at FreddyBurns_. My Facebook and Instagram got shut down for some reason. I don't send anything negative at all, so I have no idea. Kind of shady, in my opinion.
Wait. What happened?
So my Instagram and Facebook, I woke up Thanksgiving morning. They said you went against not following our terms on Instagram, and they shut. I have like 5,000 people, dude, like on Facebook, and I do insurance for a living. Like that's my way of getting insurance clients. Anyhow, so you find me on Twitter at FreddyBurns_, and then always you can find me here on pregame, sometimes halftime and post, as well as on Edge of Philly Sports, EOPsports.com, but especially 8:30 on Wednesday nights.
Love it. Go check that out. My final thought of this game is I don't know if you watched the Georgia game yesterday, but there was a moment where they blocked a field goal. The ball.
Georgia's my squad.
Yeah, is it? All right, so they blocked the field goal, and you saw the special teams coordinator yelling at his players, "Do not touch the ball," and they ran it back for a touchdown, man. I'm looking at Scott Cochran.
Awesome.
The Georgia,
Chris Smith III with that play.
Yeah. I'm looking at that guy to come in and revitalize this Eagles special team. That's my final thought, man, because that was amazing.
He's not a bad corner either. He's good. He's a good player too.
Yeah, just when in doubt when it comes to draft and coaching, and just bring everyone from Georgia and Alabama to the Eagles. That's
Carter. We need to, I think you were going with a Seahawks fan about it. I text my buddies every week. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, let's go.
Did you see Jordan Davis pick up the LSU quarterback? Jalen Carter. I'm sorry, Jalen Carter pick up the quarterback with one.
I'm not going to get a rough in the passer, so I'm going to just pick him up and say, "Hey, call motion." That was unbelievable. I've never seen that before.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. And last final thought goes to Clemson. I don't know if you saw that game. Shout out to Jeremiah Trotter's son. Dude had he led the team in tackles. He had 3 sacks. Previous week, I think he had a pick six. Shout out to Trotter's son. He's just absolutely tearing it up. He's smallish. That's kind of like if he was probably 2 inches bigger, you're probably looking at a top 15 pick. That's how dominant he has been for Clemson.
Out of St. Joe's Prep High School as well in Philly. So
it's awesome, man. It's good stuff. Draft wise, I've covered 5 positions: running backs, edge, interior defensive line, cornerback, and tight end. I am almost done with my safety rankings. As much as I love the tight end group, it is an amazing group. I think there's 6 guys on that list that I would love to see the Eagles draft. The safety class sucks this year, man. It is terrible. You've got a lot of projects, a lot of developmental guys, guys that are like, okay, not great at anything. It's a very boring group. So outside of like Brian Branch and it's Jordan Battle out of Alabama, and then you've got
the guy.
What's his name? Brandon Joseph, I think, out of Notre Dame, and Jalen Catalone out of Arkansas. Like it's a very not a good group. So I just saw a tweet. Jordan Davis will play per Jimmy Kempski. That is really exciting. So guys, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you guys for commenting. We will be back for halftime and post-game live, breaking down everything we know and have learned between the Eagles and the Titans. Jalen Hurts impressions, everything, and all of it in between. So my man over there, Freddie at Freddie Burns _. Go check him out on Twitter and check out Edge of Philly Sports, EOPsports.com, wherever you get your Philly sports content. The Painted Lines. Please give this video a like if you love the Philadelphia Eagles. We will see you at halftime. For Freddie, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.